When I've talked to people about the bypass, they all think it's going to be out at White City or out by Belgoni. Everyone is shocked when they find out that it's going to be at Tower Road, which is in the city limits.
This is Regina's Victoria Avenue, the major artery that runs through the city and links traffic to major highways. Gridlock, heavy trucks. Think of the dangers having to commute through this every day. Workers, students, families, all face serious risks when traveling here. Everyone agrees Regina needs a bypass. But a growing number of protesters oppose the route determined by the provincial government. We have questions about how and why this route was selected. And despite holding rallies at the legislature in Regina and presenting a petition which has more than 1,500 signatures, the provincial government simply refuses to answer questions. So, we hope you might lend your voice to ours. Overall, we're asking, why Tower Road? This route was picked back in 2004, before the rapid growth that has since swallowed the bypass route into city limits. It was supposed to be practical for 40 years, but was overgrown within only 4 years.
The highway should be further east. At some point, it probably should be as far as Belgoni. There's many trucks that go down number 46 and split off going north. So at this point in time, I'm not sure the validity of a perimeter highway going down the same stretch as which Tower Road is. I think it's too close to the city. It doesn't achieve the objectives, I think, that the highway department wanted, and that's to get a lot of the traffic in and around past the city. All they've done is conjugated it back at Victoria and Victoria Avenue and Tower, and they're still going to have a lot of similar problems going out to Pilot Butte, White City, Emerald Park, and Belgoni.
90% of heavy truck traffic will remain on city roadways, with much of heavy truck traffic still destined for Ross Industrial and northern destinations on Highway 6 and 11. Why spend so much more taxpayer money than you have to? At $1.2 billion, this is the largest infrastructure project in Saskatchewan history. We have the numbers to show that taxpayers could save as much as $500 million by altering the route. Here's the government's chosen route, already within close proximity to housing development. Contrast that with our well-studied and suggested route. We have undertaken thousands of hours of research and advised the government of better routes outside the city limits at Gravel Pit Road or north at Highway number 46, beginning at Belgoni. They won't consider it. In fact, they won't even look at it.
If you're going to move it, if you're going to keep it to a bypass, move it outside. Go to the Belgoni. Between Belgoni and White City. Bring the traffic around to the north end. Bring it to where it's actually needed, ever as place, the refinery. To have it located, to go to a south part, we already have the Global Transport Hub, which is basically a white elephant that was created for one major corporation, and the rest are all publicly crown corporations that have gone into there.
I guess another problem with this project is the fact that people can't get the information they need to make an informed decision. So much of it's redacted, so much of it's hidden. And again, that tends to be typical when you get public-private partnerships. Information on public projects, on public infrastructure, which the citizens should have, is kept secret. And people just can't get the information they need to evaluate the proposal. And that was the problem in the wastewater treatment plant, and it seems like it's a problem in this one too. People just can't get the straight goods.
And to me, the best way is to take it way past and go to Belgoni and get the traffic out there. And that's a long-term plan. To here, this is a short-term solution. I mean, you'll probably see highways or construction on the other side of this highway within the next year or two, and I mean, we need something that's a 50-year plan. So, the other side of it is, from what I understand, there's a proposal out there that will save us $500 million. And as a taxpayer, if we can't look at that and come up with a solution to save that kind of money, it's very short-sighted.
For the record, I don't want my children, grandchildren regretting that I didn't speak up about this tragically high-priced, outdated proposed bypass whose debt will be inherited by them. I have no financial stake or gain except the inheritance of the debt that we will leave to be paid by our future generations. I just hope that this project will not be the obituary to common sense which seems to be lacking by this administration.
Why doesn't the government want to uproot as few people as possible? Annexed land this close to the city will cost millions of taxpayers' dollars when other options exist. Arrogant government ignores taxpayers. It's true that we elect our governments to make informed decisions on infrastructure. But what happens when a project shows the government ramming through a hugely expensive project at the risk of community safety? When the level of secrecy is so high that even freedom of information requests are stonewalled? What is the government trying to hide? We need a safe, long-term alternative. At such high cost and high stakes, taxpayers deserve a safe, cost-effective, functional long-term solution. A true bypass that serves all travelers for many years to come. But that's not what we're getting.
I find it very strange in these tough economic times in Saskatchewan that we would be investing that kind of money, borrowing another $700 million for the provincial debt to build a very small chunk of road, which doesn't seem to please anyone. If you look off to my right, you see Tower Road over here at less than 100 yards. And if you look to my left over here, you'll see house construction taking place. This housing development here is going to be right up against the proposed South Regina bypass. So the question from a provincial taxpayer point of view is, why are we supposedly building a bypass around the south end of Regina that is going to be right up next to the city, the housing developments of the city, when the whole idea is to take truck traffic and other traffic around the city at a distance that will allow the city to grow over a number of years, and that we will have something that lasts for decades instead of something that won't even last for a few years.
It's time to make our voices heard. If you want answers to the questions raised here, visit whytowerroad.net and sign our petition.